And you can hear that whistle that Leslie's blowing. That's what we call a bridge. And that tells Calvin that he's doing something correctly. And obviously you can tell by the way he was responding that he can hear that whistle through this acrylic. This acrylic is about 6 to 8 inches thick. So like I said, they can hear the whistle through it, and they can actually hear our applause as well. So during the presentation, you'll be hearing Leslie give that whistle to Calvin, and that is a great time for all of us to give Calvin a great big round of applause, because that means that he made the correct match. So again, if you ever hear that whistle from Leslie, big round of applause for Calvin. That's very reinforcing for them. So this particular research project, Calvin will be doing some matching. You can see that first object over there on the left is what we call our focal object. That's what Calvin will be coming down to see. Looks like all 4 of our boys will be coming down to that window over there on the left if you're down here in the observation deck with me. We got cameras now, great time. All the boys are giving you some great big smiles. Again, if you have a camera, now is a great time to take a picture. Hey, you're behind the screens. There we go.
Oh my God.
So again, we have Calvin, Rainier, and Kyber. All 4 boys. Yeah, is that your name? Okay, they'll go back up top. Very, very cool. So again, Calvin will be the particular dolphin working with us today, and he's going to be doing a little bit of matching. Something unique about this particular session is that we will be doing human matching. So normally they just match with shapes of certain size and kind of complexity, but now we're starting to involve human pictures in this matching. So it looks like we got started. So again, if you just joined me, we're doing some matching with one of our dolphins named Calvin. You can see some monsters up top. If you're in the observation deck with me, this monster on the right is the options that Calvin will have to choose from. And then that monster on the left is what he is supposed to be matching. So again, if you can't see the projection screens up on here in the window, just look at those monsters to give you a hint. Like so, he'll come down, look at that focal object. Incorrect matches are perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We don't expect Calvin to get 100% on these. So like I said, this human matching is something a little bit new that we started trying out. We are asking the dolphins if they can recognize human faces, because we're not entirely sure if they can discriminate and recognize differences between human faces. We think they can, but this research is helping us out. So looks like Calvin will come down, look at that focal object on the left. So again, Calvin telling the differences between humans is something that we're trying to figure out. We want to know if they're looking at something in particular, maybe the hair color, how big they are, the color of their eyes, something with their face. We don't really know. So we're doing all this research to kind of help us answer those questions. The absence of Leslie's whistle is telling Calvin that he did not make the correct match, and like I said, that's perfectly okay. 1, we don't expect Calvin to get 100%, and 2, this is very new for him, especially doing 2 humans at once. So sometimes Calvin will form what we call a bias when he's not completely confident in his answer. You can see him going to one picture more often than the other. There we go. Leslie's helping him out. Sometimes Calvin will go to one picture more often than another. And that's what we call an object bias, where he'll pick the same object over and over again, no matter what location it is in and what object you saw in that first window or that focal object. Looks like he'll come down and try again. Well, Leslie, try Calvin one more time. Check out that object on the left very, very well. There we go. So what we just did is something we like to call an errorless trial. Basically, you can see that all the options were eliminated except for that correct match. So we'll Calvin kind of make sure he knows the differences between those 2 human faces. No. he's still making that incorrect match. Like I said, it's perfectly okay. That helps us kind of figure out the way Calvin is trying to think. He doesn't always have to make the correct match. Hello, hello. So looks like Calvin will go back up top, where we do have a trainer up top pulling on the Dolphins. And like you can see, we have 4 boys up top. So looks like Calvin will come down another time. Again, if you just joined me, we're doing some matching with Calvin. You can see his options up here on the right monitor or this right window. And then that left monitor is showing what Calvin's supposed to be matching. Very good. So like I was saying before, Calvin can form some biases sometimes. He might pick the same object over and over again. He might pick the same location over and over again. That's called a side bias, where he'll pick the object that's on the left or maybe the right or the center over and over again, and that's again called a side bias.
He has a pet bias. He likes it a lot.
So you'll see the pictures that we have here. This gentleman here on the right is one of our Aquarius interns, Brett. And the lady there in the center is one of our Dolphins and Dev guests, Peg. And so we're just trying to figure out if Calvin can basically tell those two apart. And we also have a regular object in there as well. So it looks like we'll do an airless trial. Maybe try and help Calvin out. So basically by doing these airless trials, we're trying to basically have Calvin focus in and try to discriminate the differences between the 2 human faces that he's seeing here. And you can see the boys over there in the back doing some jumps, or what we call bows. Pretty exciting to see it from underwater, not always typical view that you have with those big fancy jumps. So Leslie will have him go over to that left window. Try again. Do another airless trial. We really want to kind of help Calvin out in this beginning stage of this research project to help him discriminate between those 2 human faces. So we'll try one more time. Leslie will bring it back over. Like I said, for you, those of you who are just joining me, incorrect matches are perfectly okay. Like I said, we're just kind of starting this human matching. There we go. Leslie will send him over, check out that focal object, and then help him out here over here on the right. He's like, I'm looking for the trainer, I'm not matching. Just set Calvin over one more time. We're really trying to help him out, trying to discriminate between those 2 faces so he kind of breaks that habit of choosing the same picture over and over again. And Leslie will set Calvin up top. So Calvin doesn't always have to get the correct match for that reinforcement. Our Dolphins are right around 500 pounds each, so obviously if a 500-pound Dolphin doesn't want to do something, we can't make him do it. So all this research is voluntary for the Dolphins. There we go. Correct match there. So like I was saying, all this research here is voluntary for the Dolphins. They actually like to come down here and help us out with it. Very enriching for them. Looks like our Aquarius intern Brett is down here to watch his face being not picked over and over again. So Calvin's up top, and he'll be set down one more time. Again, he'll check out that object over there on the left. Come over here to the right and make a match. Unbelievable. Sometimes these Dolphins. So Calvin will go back up top.